Welcome everybody. Today is our 20th session in the class. We are primarily focusing on job search issues, and I'm trying to make sure you have all the questions answered. Also, I understand some of you do not have resumes yet, maybe 2-3 people, and so as soon as you give me the draft or the existing resume, I will make another one shortly. Then you will have ongoing questions in your job search. So please do not disappear. Just you are welcome to contact me over Skype, over phone, over email. You are also welcome to join the next class, which begins on June 25th. So I will give you the page, and after first week I can include you actually into the group on Skype. We just have to finish certain things, and you are welcome to join them. And I think you will bring a certain job market perspective to what we learn in our online classes. So we really want people who are looking for a job to be a part of the classes. Now, Peter is asking here, when job descriptions talk about designing test plans from user input or executing manual or automated test plans, they really mean the test cases, right? The good answer to that is we don't know what they mean. Normally, when you read what they say in their job descriptions, it's very difficult to guess what they mean. I mean, it's very generic in nature. And when they say executing manual or automated test plans, I would say the keyword here is executing. Because you can develop test plan or you can execute. So executing test procedures is relatively simple. And means you just follow certain instructions. The complication might be in the instruction not being detailed enough, but still, I mean, the higher your level, so let's say if you're a senior level, you are supposed to do things with very little documentation. If you are at entry level or mid level, so you are supposed to be given more detailed instructions and guidance. So we don't know what they mean. And my best advice to you would be, when you talk to them, you ask them, listen, I just looked at your job description, and let me ask you a question. So when you are talking about executing manual and automated test plans, would you please give me more detail? What do you mean? What's going to happen when you ask that? Since most of the people you talk to are recruiters, they have no idea. Just really no idea. So you have to understand there is some game. You might be on the market, you might be off the market, but that market lives its own life. So when you go there, you do not come with your own definition. You just come to figure out how it operates, so you can really get benefited from your activities. Because lots of people, they come with their own vision and ideas and dreams, and now they want the job market to turn around and to be what they expect it to be. It is not going to happen. So then, when you are talking about test cases, in that specific question here, executing manual and automated test plans, first of all, you cannot execute test plan. So test plan is a strategic document. Test plan says, okay, that is the application we test. It has certain features, and then we talk about focus. So what is our focus when we test that application? So what is the schedule? What are the priorities? What are the risks? And this and that. You cannot execute that kind of document. What you can execute is test procedures. And you are right when you are saying, is it test cases? Yeah, test cases are easy to execute. Test suites, which are a group of test cases, are easy to execute. Obviously, you have a procedure, so now you can execute that procedure. How can you execute test plan if it is a strategic document and it doesn't have any procedures in it? The problem here is lots of people, when they say test plan, they mean some procedures. They do not understand even what's test plan. They have their own understanding, which is limited to that specific company. You just have to understand. You talk to people who do not read books, and they hire. They are not being hired, so they do not read books to learn the definitions and pass the interview. And in their company, they call it test plan. If you look at the U-test, and most of you are participating in U-test project, what they call test case, guys, it's a procedure. It's multi-step procedure which might take an hour to execute. You can call it test plan. You can call it test plan for that feature. And I can tell you, lots of companies will do exactly like that. They say, okay, here is a test plan for this, and we have 25 test plans. So on one hand, we have to know the theory. On the other hand, we have to live in the real world. So in the real world, we have diversity, and we have lots of people who never opened a book, and they just call things the way they like to call them. When I was learning how to drive a car many years ago, I did something. I'm not sure what exactly I did wrong, and the instructor, he was always drunk, actually. So the drunk instructor, he looked at me and he said, Michael, there is a big difference between people who violate the traffic rules. Okay, some people just have no idea the rules exist. And this is bad story. Some people know the rules, they just consciously break the rule because they have a reason. So same story on the job market. You have to know the rules. It doesn't mean you always follow the rules, because you have to deal with people who don't know the rules, or they play by their own rules. But in our course, we are learning the rules. So they didn't mean test cases. God knows, some procedures, because their idea of test case might be like U-test test case, which is by itself like a couple of thousand test cases. We don't know. Just do not get confused. Just tell yourself that people might not really know what they are doing, or that people might use different terminology. Just relax. Do they have a different understanding what test plan is? Oh, for sure. Absolutely. Otherwise, you cannot say executing test plan. To execute test plan, you have to put certain definition, which is totally different from what we use. Okay. But that question is very good, because you will see a lot of that. You will see lots of people and lots of situations in which they come up with sentences which make no sense. I can tell you one. I have my email, guys. Look at my email. I'm getting emails from people, and they had an interview today, and they report me the problems from that interview. And here is the question they ask: how do you regression on the pen? So they give you pen, okay? They just give you that pen and say, how would you do regression? Guys, it makes no sense at all. I mean, to do regression, you have to change the pen. You have to do something, and you cannot do that after the manufacturing, the production is done. You have to do that in the design time, or I don't know, you should give me a prototype of that pen so I can look if that prototype is better or worse than the previous one. But if you ask me, with all my flexibility and experience and understanding of other people having different idea of things, guys, I cannot even guess what they might mean. I just can tell you that the whole thing is absolutely ridiculous. The question here is, it's not you interviewing them, it's them interviewing you. So now you have to come up with something which will keep them happy, because you still want the job and it's a pretty good company. Now, so what would I answer, or what I would you suggest to answer in such an absolutely idiotic situation? I would say, honestly, guys, I'm saying if you have no reason, I mean, if you can stay honest, guys, stay honest. That is the best way to go. You say, look, the way I understand regression testing, so regression testing is making sure there was nothing broken when source code, or in our case, that pen, was modified. So some features were added, or some bugs were fixed, or something happened. So the pen you give me, obviously nothing happened to that pen. So it was manufactured, it was up to the requirements probably at that time. And then when you, what kind of testing can I do to something which is already in production? Guys, it's already given to customers. What can you test with? Nothing. After the piece of software or piece of hardware or piece of wood, after it passes certain stage in design and manufacturing process, you do not test. You test before it goes to customers. You do not test after it goes to customers. So to me, I would say regression is not exactly the testing, and actually there is no testing I can imagine, which might make sense. Let me show you another question they asked in that interview today. They said, okay, let's say you have two phones, and that company is in cell phones business. So you have two phones, and you send SMS from A to B. Okay, phone A and phone B. So, but you send SMS, and it went through. But B to A, then you send it opposite way, didn't go through. So, how would you test this? Basically, the question is, what is your next step? They do not ask you for all the possible ways of doing that. They are asking you, here you are, okay? It goes one way, it doesn't go another way. Guys, I'm expecting your input in Skype while I'm talking. And I asked that question today to 5 or 6 people here in the school, on campus. And I was really amazed with what they tell me. They say, I would try it again. Guys, you can try it 10 times. I mean, really, if it doesn't work, you can do it. One time is enough. But when they ask you that question, the question is not like, if you encounter that first time, what would you do next? Definitely you make sure it is reproducible. Guys, before you deal with the problem, you make sure the problem is reproducible. So you can say, well, if I see that, I make sure it is reproducible first. You can say that, or we can make an assumption that it's obvious. The question is, if you know there is a problem, you don't have to repeat. I mean, you know it is there. What would you test next? And okay, so someone says you cannot see my screen. Is it the case? Okay, now you see my screen, guys. Oh, I apologize, you didn't see my screen. But still, the question is, how would you test? What is the next step? So far, I see all the messages are about not seeing my screen. No, you see my screen, guys. And here is the question in that email about the cell phones. Anybody? Okay, I see Piotr is writing something. Okay, we see. Okay. So anybody with the answer to the question what to do next? SMS goes one way and it doesn't go back. It doesn't go through when you send it back. What would you do next? And that question, by the way, might happen in many different ways. And the very essence of what happened here is you have two pieces working together. It might be two pieces of software. Let's say they might ask you, you print from your application and printout is not good. What do you do next? But when printout is not good, so it might be your piece of software or it might be driver of your printer. So the printer might be the problem. So now you have two different items working together. It might be two pieces of software. It might be two pieces of hardware working together. So in our case, we have two mobile devices working together. Okay, so what Piotr says, he says we need phone number C, not just A and B, we have C. So try sending from B to C. So if it goes through successfully, it means B is okay. B can send to C, it's okay. So then B sending to A is not a problem. It is A receiving from B is a problem. So he isolated by introducing third piece. Piotr isolated the problem because we do not want to solve it having two prospects at hand. We need just one. We have to make sure it's just which device. And then change SIM cards. Why should we change SIM cards? Well, changing SIM cards is not exactly the case. I mean, as a user, if something is not working in your hands, so you might go and change SIM card, but we are testers. So we deal with designs, and SIM cards are okay. I mean, we cannot depend on multiple, how to say, sources of potential problems. We isolate. So when we deal with something, we make sure we have just one source, because if you have 10 sources, you never test properly, you never find the reason. Changing SIM cards is a purely user perspective. It's not tester perspective. Try to get from C to A. Definitely, you try to do same thing with another device. There is very important thing to mention here. You have to say, I take the device C, and we have to make sure device C is perfectly fine. You cannot say, let's take device C, which might be as good or as bad as any of those two. You take device C, which is known as good one. So it doesn't introduce its own problem. Okay. Someone says, we have only 2 phones. Guys, in QA, we have as many phones as we need. Believe it or not. If we have to test, we have, you can't imagine if you go to companies which are doing cell phone applications, you will be amazed. I mean, they have boxes and huge boxes with all the imaginable phones from different manufacturers and systems and I mean, having another phone is not a problem. So we do not have just 2 phones. Nobody told you you have 2 phones. You were told A sending to B is okay, B sending to A is okay. Nobody told you you do not have C or D or E or E. No, it's not a condition to that. It makes no sense, really. Okay, and I was really surprised. Out of 5-6 people I asked that question, nobody actually said, okay, let's isolate the problem. Definitely something is wrong with settings or configurations, and that is why it happens. But that is another story. First, you have to identify the device. Okay, coming back to Peter's questions. Back to my Apple interview questions. Okay, I was shown a graphic poster with various elements on it. Okay. Could be a movie poster or a theater performance poster. They asked me what was wrong with it. That is another example of non-software item. So they might give you a pencil, they might give you a toaster, they might say, okay, look at the Golden Gate Bridge, what's wrong with it? Or how would you test it? Or definitely they did see something wrong on it. But since it is not a piece of software and the criteria of right and wrong is not clear, so they really wanted to see if you have multiple criteria of wrong and right in your mind, and so you told them that nothing is wrong if you look at it from artistic perspective. And I'm not sure if artistic perspective is good, number one. Number two, if you bring 10 artists, for example, and you show them that poster, as far as I know, artists, guys, each of them might come with lots of criticism. I don't know. I'm not artistic at all, but definitely there was something there. Maybe it had like 5 places with blue color, and the blue color was not consistent. I don't know, but they were checking your eye. The only way it might go wrong is when you are in denial. You said, what is that crap question? What do they mean? I mean, I hate these people, or yeah. So if you are not in denial, so you are more open to to the challenge. Well, you might find something, you might not find something. Definitely, you do not want to say something which is against you. Okay, so something which is not makes no sense really. If you see nothing, you say I see nothing. There is no problem in that. It's not like the answer which is against you. Okay, you don't see it. Okay, I thought it was a trick, and that was the right answer. Did I overthink it? We don't know. We don't know, because when people ask weird questions, the people might be weird. I mean, I've seen that a lot. Or they ask you a question and they do not know the good answer to that question. They ask you, you give them good answer, and they say no, and they give you bad one, and they think bad answer is a good answer. I've seen that a lot too. So don't worry. It's a part of the deal. Just don't take it personally. They grilled me some more, and finally I did point few things that were wrong. You didn't tell me which things were wrong, because if you would be more specific, so maybe pretty much the same issues happened on the very first picture. I just don't know what's the nature of that. Okay, I have been telling the recruiter that my desired contract hourly rate is $35. Is it a decent feature? It really depends on where you are geographically. So you are pretty much in Bay Area, San Francisco Bay Area, where $35 is not a big deal, I would say. But it depends on what you've done before in your resume. We have a gentleman in previous class. He lives in Seattle area, and he was asking for $35 per hour, and it was his very first job. And he finally got one. I mean, he did have 4 interviews, and they offered him less than 35. So out of 4 interviews, he had more than one offer. But then somehow he decided that 35 is what he wants, and he finally got 35. What I can tell you, the less you ask for, the less opportunities you have in being considered. Because if you ask for $15, guys, recruiters do not have $15 clients. And so 35, 40, 45, 50, you're going to get much more attention. Really, they say, oh yes, here is a senior level guy or someone. In my opinion, in Bay Area, to get $40 and more, you have to really know something. It might be some automation, or it might be some mobile, or something you have to know real well. Up to 40, let's say 35. It means you just know how to do relatively simple things, but you've done it. You are kind of flexible, and you can do it reliably. It's just the basic stuff. That is 35. So I don't think it is something which shouldn't work for you. It's pretty good. It seems to send a lot of them away. Here is the issue. Some of them. You have to understand how the job market works, specifically in Bay Area. I'm not sure about other places, but in Bay Area, we have the job market is very corrupted. If you know that, or maybe you don't know that. For example, you are a manager, and you come to me and you say, Michael, here is $60 I can pay you as a recruiter. Why don't you do it this way? Why don't you find someone like who will accept $20? Okay. And then we still have $40 to share in between us. And so there is a job market niche with lots of recruiters looking for people with fabricated resumes. And if you look at job market from a recruiter's perspective, in that market niche, let's say 20, 25, $30 per hour, maybe 8, maybe 9 resumes are totally fabricated. You see people with 5 years of experience asking for $25. And when you start talking to them, they do not have single day of experience, and sometimes not even training. Now, there is a market niche. They are looking for that people. And so they have a deal. Okay, they have 0 experience, bullshitted resume, $25 per hour, $20. They are happy. And these people are happy. So they just call you because you have a suspicion that you might be, their prospect, but then they figure out it's not. It's okay. So that is my suggestion. My explanation to that situation. It sends them away. Well, you can say 30-35. If you would accept 30, you can say, okay, 30-35. And you can say, well, I am relatively flexible, because when you talk to recruiters, you cannot say I'm open, because you should have a very clear range, so they know where to send your resume, where not to send your resume. But again, 35 is not something really to discourage people. I would say 35, 40, 45 will give you more attention than 20, 25, yeah? In my experience. So I would say it's perfectly fine. What are they after when they ask about conflicts at previous workplaces? There are lots of interview questions which are pretty much in that range. If we go to our school web page, the older one, I'm not sure about new one, I don't remember if I really move the interview questions to the new website, but what you see here, the portnow.readyhosting.com, is our previous design, and I did have lots of interview questions there. So if we go to resources and we say interview questions here, let's hope it works. Does it? We have lots of interview questions, which I compiled. Yeah, here they are, which I compiled out of 10, 12, 15 sources. Are there any aspects of my skills or background that you would like to hear more about? That is what you ask, but then there are lots of questions they ask. So you just read it. I mean, guys, if you really have like 10 minutes, familiarize yourself with that. They are all more or less real interview questions. So how do you measure your personal success? They might ask you that. I mean, don't be surprised. It's a common question. How do you prioritize your time? How do you feel about looking for a new job? How do you go about making important decisions? They are all relatively common interview questions. They are coming from same group of questions. So when they ask you about conflicts at previous workplace, it doesn't mean they look at your face and they say, ah, look at that Piotr, okay? He looks like a troublemaker. Let's ask him about conflicts at previous workplace. No, it has nothing to do with you. They just have questions they ask. It's a part of the procedure. And some people are on the job market because they were fired for something. And it is similar to the question of why are you looking for a job? So why are you on the job market? They want to get a good, nice reason, like there was a layoff or end of project, or project was outsourced to another country or something, which means you didn't do anything wrong. It's not about you not being good. That is the reason. So conflicts at previous workplace. What you say, what I would say, what I would suggest you to say. You say, look, we are working in a professional environment, and I consider myself to be someone with professional attitude. We don't have to agree with everybody. So, and disagreements are overall, it's a good thing, because over disagreements we come to better solutions. But we have to stay professional and we have to stay decent. And why in the world I would run in a conflict if we are working? To me, there is nothing personal in that. And so I wouldn't allow myself to run into any conflict. I'm not going to work, to get into conflict with anybody. One question was about having a conflict with a coworker and how I went about solving it. Yeah, when you tell them just what I told you, and you say I never run into conflicts, I'm not up to conflicts, and this and that, and they say, yeah, but would you give me an example of kind of conflict, maybe just coming, and how you avoided that conflict or how you resolved the conflict? They want to know you actually can do it, or will do it, or you have experience in eliminating the conflicts. I would say for technical jobs, it is a kind of a rare type of question, very rare. It might be more about, I don't know, sales or administrative or business or marketing. God knows, I mean, people have much more tension there in their relationships, so not exactly in IT. It might be a large company. They have human resources, and human resources, they go to training and they teach them how to interview, and they bring psychology to that, and God knows how many things. So that is their job to ask idiotic questions. But they put some meaning. You just run into these people. Don't take it personally, and I would say just stay decent and stay calm and say, really, I have no examples because I never did run into any conflict, so I didn't have a chance to resolve anything. And another was about people doing something wrong, and what would my course of action be? Okay, you got to the right people. My course of action be, you are doing technical work. You are not in business of conflict resolution. If someone is doing something wrong, so question number one, is it my business at all? I mean, if it is not my business, I don't care really. If it impacts my work, we have meetings. I mean, we have QA meetings at least once a week. It might be much more often. We might have daily Scrum meeting once a day. You know, each and every morning we have Scrum, and I can raise an issue. I can say, listen, guys, in such and such situation, what do you think we should do? So you have management. Management is in the position to decide to resolve conflicts, or let's say to optimize the course of action taken. It's not your business. You know, someone else should do that. That's it. Are they after someone who would run to management in those cases, or take matters in their own hands and try to resolve any issues first before involving managers? I would say they do not want you. Really, they do not want you to resolve it first. They want you to bring the managers, because sometimes when you bring managers, it's too late. It's too late. Lots of people would say, yeah, I can handle it, but it is wrong. So overall, if you have any conflict or any issue or any problem, your job is to raise the issue and let people who are in the position to resolve it, It's not exactly what you should do. Don't take it kind of too close. You just ran into some company of that type. How long will the class materials be available to use for? Guys, the class materials are available forever. Moreover, we open all the new class materials to you, and all the previous class materials to you if you really want to, because they're very close, pretty much the same. Meanwhile, we are working on videotaping certain classes in the school. And if you look at the Portnoy channel on the YouTube, let me go. It's youtube.com Portnoy School. Some of them we make public domain, and most of it will be available just to you. So we will not make it public. And so we are making small videos and larger videos. We just did 4 hours of SQL. And the nighttime class has 8 hours of SQL. But after we edited the videos and removed, whatever is not exactly relevant, so the easiest way is to just to type SQL here and search, and you will see all 4 at once. So those are actually 8 hours of SQL class, session 1, 2, 3, and 4. We are doing a web testing class, so we are videotaping that and posting it. So far, you have just first session. It says session 1.1, 1.2, and 1.3, and those are publicly available, and the rest of it will be hidden from the public, but you will have access to that. And we just did virtual machines, by the way. We have a brilliant lady. She was a QA manager for VMware. So if you know VMware, so it's a company which is doing virtual machines. So, and she teaches virtual machines here. Yeah. We have 2 videos. How long? Altogether, it's just about 1 hour. So she talks about how to install virtual machines, and then how to configure and create virtual machines. So that is very, very, I would say, helpful. And we are doing JavaScript and HTML, and all those are coming. So what else? Most common questions you are still... Okay, Mikhail, most common question, you are still working in LASTH. If I answer no, they ask the project is finished. If it was a contract position, you can say, look, I am still working on that project. I'm just looking for something local here. You know, since it is a remote project, I want something local. And that's what I would suggest, because if you have no job right now, let's say my project ended Friday last week, and I'm on the market looking for another job. I'm not, how to say, I'm not positioned in terms of negotiating the price. Okay, I'm not positioned that well. Because I have no job. Listen, if I do have a job, if I do make income, so what is my reason to move? Offer me something. Give me something on the top of what I have. If I have nothing, you don't have to give me anything on the top. So I'm not that much kind of, my negotiating point is not that strong anymore. So that is, I would say I am still there. What is a Scrum meeting? Guys, I gave you that link, and let me tell you a couple of words about that. Go to Agile. If you are on YouTube, go to Agile testing. Just type in Agile testing and search. And the very first video here, it says Agile testing. And it is a part of our program, our curriculum actually. So I gave you that link before. Watch that video. Not just watch that video, but work it out. Take notes. If you can talk about what that woman is talking, it's just 1 hour video. If you can talk about that, you get any job you want. Because she moved as a QA manager from waterfall cycle to Agile, back and forth a couple of times, and she compares everything. And she's real good at that. Within a week or two, we will videotape our own lecture on Agile. Agile and Scrum and all the methodologies involved in that. I hope to do that within a week or two, the most, and we will make it available to you as well. But meanwhile, if you want to do Scrum, guys, just do Scrum. Let's say Scrum meeting, okay? The idea of Scrum meeting is each and every morning we get together, we start the business day with, yeah, it says daily Scrum meeting at active.com and 7 minutes. So the idea is we are working in such a dynamic environment, and things change a lot every day. So every morning we start with that meeting when we discuss what we do today. It's called sometimes stand-up Scrum meeting. Stand-up meeting. We don't even sit down. It's a stand-up meeting. So we have our own lecture on that, and it is coming. But meanwhile, there are tons of information on that. What else do we have there? For Mikhail, those for SQL, is that how to test or just basic knowledge? It is basic knowledge, but that basic knowledge is delivered by the person who is in QA. So when he delivers basic knowledge, he delivers that under SQA perspective. We also have a couple of videos done for another project, and we have a lecture there on how to test that application from SQL standpoint. So if you want to, I can find those links and give you. But again, it is not going to be your project. It is going to be somebody else's project. Okay, I edited. Sure, just but it's not contract job, right? I do not understand. It is not contract job. I do not understand what's contract job. Why? My company doesn't have Agile and Scrum. It's kind of disorganized. Okay, Ilya, he is working. Yeah, okay. Lots of companies are completely disorganized. Is that good or bad? Well, I would say in terms of learning something, it's not good. Because if it is, let's say, waterfall, you learn about waterfall. If it is Agile, you learn about Agile. If it's just a disaster, you learn about disaster. But it's okay. I would say it's fine. I mean, there is nothing to regret about. Because each and every day you go to work, no matter how bad or how good, you still are gaining experience. And 1 year from now, you might not even remember what you did, okay? And you might change a couple of companies in between, and you don't care, really. I mean, the important things happen simply because you go there and you do something, and then your resume becomes more solid. Just think about yourself and how each and every day there benefits you when you start looking for another job. That is the most important value there. It is management decision. What's management decision? Oh, okay. We have a question if your job with testing house is a contract job. Yes, it is a contract job. Yeah, but guys, some contracts could be 3 years and 5 years and 10. Guys, there is no specific limit. So contract means we have it for, let's say, 3 months or 6 months. We have a project, but then there's going to be another project and another project and another project, or might not be a project, or might be company might go out of business, and who knows. How do you access restricted videos on Portnoy School channel? I have to give you a link. I can show you guys. Here is my YouTube, and you can see that Portnoy School in the corner. So I'm logged into my channel. So then I go to Video Manager, and when I go to that Video Manager, I see videos which are shared with public and videos which are hidden. Let's say the first 3 are public, and that one is hidden, and the next one is hidden, and the next one is hidden. So you have to log in. But if I give you the link, you can still watch it. I just have to navigate, find the one, and give it to you. Okay, it's kind of mess, Ilya says. Learning about slot machines and the back-end server slowly. You know what? You have some Los Angeles or kind of, I don't know, casino flavor on your resume, which is cool. Yeah, I have lots of stories about casino. Okay. LSTH in your resume. Common question: is it contract position? I just answered. You can say yes, it is a contract position. Yeah, but not typical QA fashion. Mine is contract, but it's not a specific project. Company just wants to do it that way as a trial period. Okay, sure. In many companies, they have 90 days trial period, and legally by law, if it is a permanent position, not but permanent, from the day one it's permanent, they have 90 days within which they can say, thank you very much, you do not come tomorrow, and they are okay. After 90 days, you have certain rights. Within 90 days, you have no rights. Same about ClickBuddy. Is it a freelance? Okay, guys, you have to understand. ClickBuddy is given to testing house for testing. It's not like we, take their product and they have no idea we are taking their product. Olga, who runs your project, she is a QA manager for ClickBuddy. And so testing house is in agreement with ClickBuddy. but it cannot be freelance. You test ClickBerry being LASTH consultant. So we send you there, we give you references, we answer all the questions on ClickBerry because it is our project, it is given to us. So you didn't work in ClickBerry as an employee of ClickBerry or as a freelancer for ClickBerry. You worked on ClickBerry project as a testing house consultant. What is the difference between verification and validation? I hope, guys, lots of you can answer that question, but since you ask me, verification is about making sure that requirements are implemented. Validation is looking at requirements. When we talked about software testing, we said software testing is about 3 activities. One is verification, so making sure requirements are there. Validation, when you reflect to requirements and you understand, is it a good requirement? Maybe we have to add something. Maybe we have to, improve it some way. And then we have error detection. So, and altogether, verification, validation, and error detection is what we call software testing. Do we have a self-paced, probably, class, SOAP UI? No, we do not have SOAP UI. But they are doing it as contract, Ilya says. Recruiters pays me 3 months. Does verification have to do with regression testing? When you do verification, which means you make sure that requirements are implemented, part of the verification is regression. So you do functionality testing. So under verification, you do functionality testing, making sure that requirements are there. You do regression testing, making sure that implemented requirements are still there, so the software is not broken. So it is a part. Yeah, definitely functionality and regression testing are under verification, not under validation. Any actual testing is supposed to be under verification because we deal with requirement. Like stating verified fixed. No, verified fixed relates to software bug. When you have bug and the bug is fixed, we verify that the bug is fixed. We do not do verification of the requirements. We do verification of the bug fix. It's a completely different, maybe it's confusing a little bit, but it's a different part of the world. It's like Napoleon as a cake and Napoleon as an emperor of France. Yeah, I mean, same name, but completely 2 different ideas. So here is verification testing is one thing, verification of a fixed bug is a different thing. I find myself, Ilya says, doing a lot of negative testing here. Definitely, if they have enough time to do negative testing, guys, negative testing will take 10 times more, maybe 15 times more time than positive. On one positive way of doing things, there might be 10, 15, 20 ways of how you can screw up doing it. Definitely, negative testing takes more time. Negative testing results in more bugs, so now you have to write you have to spend lots of time writing negative bug reports. Sure, that is a part of the deal. What do you do for testing ClickBerry project remotely? You do everything. What is the best way? Everything. You do test. You write test cases. You work with requirements. You execute test cases. I mean, whatever you would do if you sit in the next office. In today's world, I mean, I do not see much difference. I mean, you have access to QA server. You have access to whatever resources we have. I mean, what's wrong? Now Ilya brings a little bit of flavor. He says negative testing, like opening up the slot machine and resetting it through the door, something user would not regularly do. Since you deal with all the idiots playing slot machines, now negative testing becomes the real purpose of your work, because negative testing is much more when it comes to slot machines than any normal software. And people, well, definitely, and people try to get money maybe out of slot machines. I don't know what they do. What difference, retesting and regression testing? What is the difference between retesting and regression testing. Retesting is when you test it again. So you do it, you run your test again. Regression testing is retesting with the purpose of making sure that something is not broken. You can retest with the purpose of making sure it is finally implemented. Yesterday I did the test and feature was not there. Today I run the test and the feature is not there. Tomorrow they tell me the feature is there, we fixed everything, I go and it's still not there. So when I retest, I just execute same test again. But the purpose might be different. I can retest for the purpose of acceptance. I can say, okay, are we going to accept that release? So retesting is a human language thing. I mean, there is no retesting as a technical term. Regression, yes, it's a professional term. Retesting is a human language. How to test web application address book in several languages, including Chinese and Japanese. Well, testing applications in several languages is a very special niche of the job market. And people who do that, they either do it intuitively or they really know how to do it. So you cannot claim you know how to do it. I can tell I tested Japanese version of our software, and the only way I was able to do that, I knew the interface very well. And I just remembered the location of the menus and interface elements, because if I read what it says, I don't know what it said. And I still was able to test. But again, I'm not saying I never put it in my resume, because if I put it in my resume, I tested Japanese version, they might think I know a little bit of Japanese, or I know something about localization, you know, beyond a very common knowledge. I wouldn't do that. So how to test web application in several, that question might be a good question when it comes to test automation. For example, you have a script in Selenium, and that script works in English version, and then you have Japanese version, and that script might or might not run on Japanese or Chinese or any other language than English, and it depends how you write that script. So when you write your script, you might use the actual names of controls. You can say OK button, or you can say button which is like has X and Y, and you provide values, or you can say button which is number 3, and they have buttons enumerated. So it really depends how you write your script. So for test automation, that question is a good question. You tell them I never rely on the tags and actual names of controls. I would rely on something which doesn't change from language to language. What are the best things to say in weekly meetings? Wow. Well, the best one is say hi everybody, but then it depends on what that meeting is about and what they want you to say. So the best thing to say is something they really want you to say, and you just have to understand the procedure to be adequate, you know, to behave adequately to that procedure, because it feels like every time at the end of the week they are re-interviewing me to check my progress. It might be the case, why not? To see if they want to keep me, you don't care. Look, if they don't keep you, well, what's going to happen to you? You just go, you get another job, get more money. I mean, my understanding of that is, the more often you lose your job, so the more often you get, you know, raise. So at that stage of your career. Definitely. I mean, it actually happened to you before. I mean, you moved from what, $15 to 25. So, I mean, it's good. Sometimes I'm not good at terminology. We are all experiencing the same thing. I did go through that. The only answer to that is write it down, go to Wikipedia, read the books, ask me. Go to professional forums like qaforums.com, and so on. We just have to, it takes certain time to become a little bit flexible with that stuff, but it is a must part of the deal. Signs to give that make them think I'm progressing well. Listen more than talk. Okay, 90% of what you have to do is listen. And when you listen, make sure you take notes. And you can come with tape recorder, digital, and say, would you mind if I record, so I can kind of listen again? And most of the people won't mind. Just ask them. So I have a summary of what I learned at the end of the week. Mikhail, since this is the last session, will you invite us again for the next class, just in case we want to... Guys, you are invited to all the classes we have and planning to have forever. Okay, as long as you need it, it's yours. So our product is not the class. Our product is you getting a job and keeping the job. So as long as you need those trainings, you're welcome. And I just mentioned today, we start new class Monday next week. So it's going to be Monday, June 25th. We'll have to listen to the next webinar. Guys, you can listen to the next webinar. I mean, I don't think it's going to be any different from what you listened so far. But yes, sure, you are very welcome. And before we finish today, I wanted to go to the DICE so you can see where we are on the resume front. Let me do QA web, and that is nationwide, so we are not limiting our search to any specific location. And I just want to show you guys how good you are at that, and I will say, okay, 1 week. I do not want 90 days. 90 days is default. Let's do 7 days. Look who is leading. Okay, Peter is #1. And so Peter, by the way, guys, you remember we discussed that desired position length. What I found out, it is practically unlimited. I was capable of creating a profile with like 2 pages of that stuff. But what I also noticed, it is not beneficial anymore. I mean, if you make it too long, it gives you nothing. So that is something I learned. So Peter is #1, and I believe he is supposed to get lots of calls. Then Alexander, so he is also in your group. Guys, our online students are beating the on-campus folks. Okay, Aijana is our on-campus student. Look at, okay, that is here is a guy. He's an old-timer. He is working somewhere. Okay, Henry, he is local. Alisa. Okay, look at that one. We just did it yesterday, so I said I don't want to do anything larger than that. So we just put all the thinkable, unthinkable keywords into that desired position. That is the longest one we created so far. But again, she is doing pretty well. Okay, but again, it doesn't make her, you know, that doesn't put her to the sky. Okay, what else? Those are local guys. Vyacheslav. Okay, we have one gentleman from Florida here. Okay, he is using the trick. Vyacheslav is using the trick, so he has a long thing. He has 3 times QA, guys, and 2 times web. And guess what? He is not at the top of the list. So the desired position in that kind of way has limited capabilities. So probably makes no sense to have 2 or 3 of the same in that. But he still has lots of nice things. But application, the word application by itself, I think makes no sense at all. HTTP, Firebug, Fiddler, quality, I don't know. I mean, to me, those are very low value things, especially in Florida. Florida doesn't have lots of competition. You don't have to put all the keywords in your desired position and make it a little bit ridiculous. So you're not competing with the crowd like we do here locally. Anybody wants to look at his or her positioning? Okay, Hassan is asking if Selenium class from Kartik is available. Yes, guys, if you go to his website, which is selenium-elearn.com, selenium-elearn.com, then you say partner Portnov, Selenium eLearn, partner Portnov. And you will have his page for you. He created that page for you. So if you purchase his Selenium program, which is priced very well, I think $250 is not much at all for that class. And yeah, if you really want to be good at Selenium, it's a good one. So 250. Normally he charges 350. So it is here. And again, we are doing our own Selenium class. We are videotaping that class, and it will be available within a month. We have pretty good one as well. Okay, guys, any questions so far? Because I think my agenda is more or less done. So maybe you want to see yourself on the dice. Okay, SQL YouTube videos. I will find them and give you the links in Skype. I just don't know exactly where they are right now. I have to search for them. Any specific software we need to get because I've had problem. I don't know which software. For running SQL, we are using in our school we are using the version of Oracle. Oracle has a version for PC, and it is free. So that is what we use in the school. And yeah. If it comes with any specific problem, just give me the specific problems. And we have IT person here in the school, in the office. So we might ask him to look at the problem. I cannot really do the troubleshooting of SQL issues. I'm not doing SQL at all. Guys, and I'm not saying, bye to you because, again, we are expected to cooperate in you getting a job. So whatever issues you have, you're welcome to ping me, and I'm here to help you. Until you are done with career change, we keep working. Okay, guys. So thank you very much, and so I will officially close the class. I mean let's say webinar online portion of the class, and we are moving to the next stage where everybody should get a job. Guys, my only suggestion to you, when you get a job, guys, write to the group, because it will encourage other people. And I have right now quite a few graduates of previous classes getting jobs as we speak. And we have people who are moving from first job to second job in different areas. And really it makes me very happy and excited about you and the very opportunity, to do things like that online, because sometimes we have people here on campus and we send them to internships, and they really do it hands-on for a couple of months, and still not everybody is capable, or committed to make the next step after that. So, and if it works online, it's really amazing. When I started that class, I didn't know how it will go, and we started a year ago in May of 2011. Prior to that, the only reason I didn't start, I could start like 5 years before, but I was thinking the probability of getting a job might be too low, so I don't want to, to expose people to failures. And so you proved you can do it, and we can do it together, which is a very good thing. Okay, guys, so I'm running to another assignment. Thank you very much.